day that the Lord has made.
Hello everyone and welcome back. I kind of want to pick up on what I was talking about on the last video, which was the being mindful of what we're allowing our kids to say, and following those unctions and the discernment of when we don't feel like something is right, not keeping quiet about it but saying something. And so basically God just confirmed that to me, that which is something that we already know. The enemy is using, social media and television and, like I said, things that we listen to. He's using that to influence our children. And there's a certain saying that, my kids were saying is popular. And I didn't really have a problem with it. Me and my husband, it was annoying, but we're just letting the kids be kids. But I just didn't feel right about it. Something wasn't sitting with me about it. And typically I try not to look up stuff, because I feel like if you look up something, then you can always find something, that somebody said about it or what it could mean. So I didn't necessarily look it up. I guess I was kind of following the ignorance is bliss, which, that's not the right way to go either. But in that situation, I did kind of just feel like if I don't know about it, then whatever, I don't have to say anything. But I can't remember what I was doing, and I just decided to look up, because I asked my son about, what he knew about it and where it came from. And he was just saying, oh, it was a song, and then, somebody else started it, and then it was just a viral thing that somebody else said, and now that's why everybody says it. So I was like, okay, whatever. I wasn't really thinking about it. So once I just found whatever popped up, I can't remember, I don't think anything popped up. I think I just went and looked up the song, and I was reading through the lyrics, and it wasn't too bad. I mean, it was nothing kid friendly, but it wasn't anything too bad. So from there, I just started looking at the artist, and the artist, meaning the guy who wrote the song, just looked, I was like, oh no, it was very, I guess just scary. He just looked scary to me. So I was like, yeah, nah, I don't like that, for one. And then I started reading about the guy and the stuff that he was talking about. And so from there, that's when not necessarily stuff he was talking about in the song, but more so about himself, the stuff that he was saying about himself and what influences his songs. So from there, I was like, yeah, nah, I'm no longer going to let my kids, say this. So I ended up talking to them about it. Maybe on Saturday. Today is Monday, so we talked about it on Saturday. Told them, I don't like what this represents. We serve God. We don't want to be doing or saying anything that would make the enemy think that we want to have anything to do with him, that he's welcome in our house. So we're not going to be saying that anymore. And I made it known that I know that's probably, I know that that's not what you guys were saying it for. You're just saying something that's fun. But once we know, then we have to stop. So we're not saying that anymore. So my kids were fine about it. I pick up my one of my younger sons from school, because I pick him up before I pick up my second youngest from school. And he was telling me the same. And so he kind of fabricates a lot, like makes up things and talks about stuff that's not necessarily the truth. So he's only 4, so I wasn't necessarily paying attention to him. I just thought maybe he's being a little, mischievous and, just playing with me to see if I'm going to say anything about him saying that thing that he know he's not supposed to be saying. So he said they were doing it in school, and he wrote it on his paper. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, if you're doing something at school, then that's fine. As long as it's appropriate, that's fine. So I didn't pay no, but we're not going to talk about it anymore. That's what I told him. So we moved on from that, continued whatever we were doing. Got home, he had a snack, we did whatever. So once I picked up my second oldest, because he stays at school longer, my 4-year-old is in pre-K, so he gets out before my first grader. So once the school day was over, I went to go pick up my first grader, and as soon as he got in the car, he said the same thing that my 4-year-old was saying. And he was like, the teacher was saying it, and we were making videos about it. It sounds like the school, he said the principal was saying it, so it sounds like the school just jumped on the saying, not necessarily in a negative way, but I guess to make it fun, to relate to the children. And today, I have not heard about that at all this whole school year since they've been saying it. I have heard nothing about that happening at school. So today was the first day. Mind you, we talked about this on Saturday, that they're not allowed to say that anymore, and what, I feel like it means and why we're not saying it. So when he got in the car, he started talking about it. So I'm like, okay, that's what my 4-year-old was talking about. So he was telling the truth. So I was like, that enemy, and again, I don't feel like he's anything new, because he comes to steal, kill, and destroy. He's sneaky. He tries to slither his way in and into your day-to-day, into your mind, into your life. And I just feel like it was just confirmation to me that it is something more than just saying that. It represents something. And the enemy thought he was slick by trying to put it in the school today and, try to, suck people in. And it's not even just about my kids. It's just the not knowing of children, even, like I said, parents, because we feeling like, okay, we're going to let them have fun. It's not a big deal. But it's something behind this stuff. So my point of the story is, again, when we feel like something is not right, we need to speak up. We need to separate ourselves from it. We can inform and talk about it with whoever's willing to listen, but it shouldn't be to the point where, I'm not going to force nothing down nobody's throat. I'm not going to make nobody agree with me. So if you mention it to somebody, they don't want to hear it, move on. It's not worth the argument. And the Bible tells us that as well. When he sent the disciples, he said, when you go in somebody's house or you go into their town, if they don't want to hear what you're talking about, kick the dust off your feet, move on. So that's kind of what I try to follow. I'm not going to make somebody agree with me or believe what I believe. But it was confirmation that when we hear our kids saying stuff and we hear the Holy Spirit telling us, that's not right, don't be involved in that, we need to obey that. We need to listen to that, because at the end of the day, the enemy is looking for his way. What did the Bible say? That he is like a lion on the prowl, just looking around for who he can devour. And the easiest ones for him to get is those who don't know Christ and children. So again, let's keep our kids covered. Let's follow what the Holy Spirit is telling us. Let's look for confirmation from God. And even when we're not looking for it, sometimes he gives it to us all the time. We just have to be sensitive to what it is that he's saying to us. So again, let's come together. Let's continue to pray for our children. Let's continue to be led by the Holy Spirit. And let's not be of the world. We are sent here to, not to be conformed to the world, but we're supposed to be transformed by the renewing of our minds. So let's think differently, let's see things differently, and let's be in tune with what the Holy Spirit is saying and leading us to do. So until next time, you guys, be blessed.
This day that God has given me, I'm not gonna waste this joy deep down inside.